last week of our series, Opposite Day, we've been learning about how Jesus says some opposite things. The first week, we learned that following Jesus is the opposite of following ourselves. The second week was that our struggles bring us closer to Jesus. Last week, we learned that our enemies help us learn to love. Did you find yourself praying for one of your enemies this week? This week, our main point is Jesus is with us even though we can't see. What are some things that you can't see, but you know are there? Did you say something like air or maybe love? Today's story is about how Jesus is always with us. Let's pause here and read Luke 9:28-36. What two men appeared, and what were God's words at the end? Moses and Elijah appeared dazzling white, and God says, "This is my son, my chosen one." Peter, James, and John probably had a lot on their mind after seeing this. Let's check out our cartoon.
It's time for today's Bible story. Today's story is from the book of Luke, chapter 9. One day, Jesus took 3 of his disciples, Peter, James, and John, and walked up a mountain to pray. While Jesus was praying, something amazing happened. Jesus began to shine as bright as a star in the sky. His face and even his clothes were bursting with light. But that's not all. 2 men named Elijah and Moses appeared next to Jesus. Moses and Elijah were very important people who lived a long time ago. They loved God and told others how to follow God. They lived and died many years before Jesus came to earth, but they showed up on that mountain and talked with Jesus. Peter, James, and John had been sleeping, but when they woke up, they couldn't believe their eyes. They saw Jesus shining very brightly next to Moses and Elijah. Then, a cloud came down and surrounded them all. And then, they heard a voice. It was God. God spoke to Peter, James, and John, saying, "This is my son, whom I have chosen. Listen to him." The disciples always saw that Jesus was different, special, and powerful. That's why they chose to follow him. But now, they knew he wasn't just different. He was the Son of God. It was like they were really seeing Jesus for the very first time. Jesus had always been the Son of God, and he'd been right there with them the whole time, but they just hadn't really seen it until that moment. We might not be able to see Jesus like his friends did, but Jesus is with us even though we can't see him.
Even though they couldn't see Jesus shining anymore, Moses and Elijah were gone, and God wasn't speaking through a cloud. Because of this experience, Peter, James, and John knew for sure that Jesus was truly the Son of God, and that he was going to be with them always. I love knowing that Jesus is always with me and he is always with you. Let's check out our series verse one last time. I hope you have a great week. Or do I hope that you have a bad week? Because it's opposite day. Either way, see you next week. Bye.
2 Corinthians 12, verse 9a. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9a. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness.